Hey guys, so this is a continuation of Drone Lemonade episode 3, where I was talking about the ARFun 95 Pro and the out of focus camera. So what I've done is I've removed all the electronics from that frame and I put it into this frame here. This is the Lantian 90L frame. Also for 2-inch props, as you can see, the same Gemfan 2035 4-bladed props. A few modifications I made is I put a brand new camera in here that actually has a decent focus, not the terrible focus that the stock camera had. I removed the LED and buzzer that came on the ARFun 90. I'm using a different buzzer here. This one came with the Lantian 90L. Same receiver. I swapped out the HAST for an XT30, and I believe that's it in terms of all the changes. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to see if this in this configuration will fly as fast as the Lizard on 3S, which is why I made the switch to the XT30 connector so it matches the one that's on the Lizard. And also I think it's a little bit lighter, so let's see how much this weighs. So the Lizard comes in at about almost 68 grams, and this build here comes in at about 62.3 grams. So basically we have a lighter build here with higher kV motors. These are 1104 7500 kV versus the 1104 6000 kV on the Lizard, and the same props, the Gemfan 2035 4-bladed props. So I'm thinking this will probably be a little bit faster, but probably not as good on battery life. I think if I'm flying this at full throttle, I probably won't get much more than 2.5 minutes on, say, 453S, something like that. But we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll take it out to the field and let's go ahead and fly it. So these are the PIDs I'm using, and I'm using a different PID profile because on 3S PIDs have to be different from 2S, and I made a video about that. If you want to see that, I'll put a card in the corner if you want to check it out. I know that everyone just wants to know what my PIDs are, so here they are. Now something I'm noticing pretty much right away is that this setup doesn't really feel as fast as the Lizard, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think it has something to do with perhaps the field of view of the camera. It's a little bit narrower than the Lizard. The Lizard's got a pretty wide field of view, and especially when you go low to the ground, it feels like it's going a lot faster. And even when I'm low to the ground with this setup, it doesn't quite feel as fast. It feels like it has a lot of power for sure, and it's definitely fun to fly, but I get the feeling that it's not as fast. And I have a feeling that it has to do with the fact that it's using 7500 kV motors versus the 6000 kV motors, and perhaps has less torque at the low end, so it doesn't accelerate as fast on this setup. And even though if you get it up to the higher speed, up to 7500 kV, it probably the top end speed is probably faster. The place I think I'm flying at here is probably too small, where I'm not generating the top speed quick enough before I have to make my turn. And so I'm just doing some freestyle flying here, getting a sense for how it felt compared to the Lizard. It feels similar, but in terms of like straight line speed, I think the Lizard still feels faster. A conclusion is inconclusive at this point, without actually using a radar gun, which I don't have. Still a lot of fun to fly this setup. So if you have the AR95 parts and want to put them in something else, another frame, or just mod the actually just mod the AR95 to fly 3S, which means you'll have to put an XT30 connector on and get rid of the JST. I think it's still plenty of fun. So definitely, you know, I'm not knocking it for being slower. It's still plenty fast. The other thing that I'm thinking in terms of why it might be a little slower here is the frame is got some pretty wide arms compared to the Lizard and the AR95 Pro. I think on these little 2-inch props, that the wider arms do generate more drag and probably reduce the thrust somewhat. So that's another thing that I'm speculating might be the reason why it feels slower in this setup. So maybe picking a different frame with thin arms might be better, or maybe moving the AR95 parts over to the Lizard 95 frame perhaps. I don't know if the frame is sold out or not, but that's also another idea.